Basketball is a team game, but it is superstars that take teams to the championship. Last season, the Houston Rockets were a team with a disenchanted superstar. As a result, they failed to make the playoffs. This season, a rejuvenated Hakeem Olajuwon has led the Rockets to a division title and a playoff berth. But with success comes pressure. Olajuwon and his mates are burdened with Houston's new championship dreams. In contrast, the LA Clippers enter the playoffs with a lot of emotion but little expectation. Few people believe the Clippers could challenge Olajuwon and the Rockets. But don't tell that to these Clippers, led by Mark Jackson, a player who left the Broadway stage for Hollywood. They've made their way to a fifth and decisive game. In the NBA, this is the ultimate gut check. One final game. The winner advances. The loser goes home.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1993 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Houston Rockets.
A crowd of 16,000 turning out at the Summit in Houston for the fifth and final game between the Midwest Division champion Rockets and the upset-minded Clippers. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, and we welcome you along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. And Mike, this series has been a series of adjustments between coaches Larry Brown and Rudy Tomjanovich. You go back to Game 4 on Wednesday night, and the change in the matchups turned out to be a key factor.
Well, as we know, sometimes matchups become the key thing in a series. And for the Houston Rockets, Rudy Tomjanovich has gone straight up position versus position, small forward against small forward, power forward against power forward, center Olajuwon versus center Roberts, and both guards matching up the same way. But not the case for the Los Angeles Clippers. After Game 3, where Stanley Roberts was wiped out a complete zero because of foul problems, Larry Brown decided in Game 4 to switch and put Danny Manning on Olajuwon. His size, he felt, would contest the fadeaway jump shot of Olajuwon. Play Stanley Roberts on Otis Thorpe. It would help to keep Roberts on the floor more minutes out of foul trouble. Roberts came up with a big game in number 4.
And throughout the series, the Clippers have been most successful when they've been able to keep the ball out of Hakeem Olajuwon's hands, and now that puts some additional pressure on Houston's perimeter people.
Olajuwon, certainly one of the candidates for MVP this year based on his regular season statistics, and he had a great one. But against Los Angeles Clippers in the playoffs, an even better statistical percentage. What do? You take the ball out of his hands, you make other people try to beat you on the floor. So Larry Brown, using double teams and triple teams, have forced the ball to the outside perimeter people. And when you look at the wins in games 1 and 3, the perimeter people shot very well for the Houston Rockets. But in the losses, games 2 and 4, they did not shoot the ball that well. So this afternoon, you'll see the traps on Olajuwon, the passes outside. All they got to do is make shots.
And both these clubs have been affected by injuries. For more on that, let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Vernon Maxwell, who has that broken bone in his left wrist, will play today. He had the wrist taped, practiced yesterday, and said he's all right and ready to go. Lloyd Vaught of the Clippers also had back spasms. He is okay and ready to play. Now, an interesting note, the last couple days there's been a lot of trash talk in the paper. I asked Vernon Maxwell about that. He said there's a key to trash talking. When you talk trash, you make sure you talk trash to the right person. He said when Ron Harper talked trash to him, he talked trash to the wrong person. Mark?
All right, Ahmad, when we come back, the season will be on the line for the Rockets and the Clippers. Up beautiful 79-degree day in Houston, Texas. And let's take a look right here at the starting lineups first for the visiting Los Angeles Clippers. In the backcourt, Mark Jackson, who has had a solid season, and Ron Harper. Andy Manning hoping to bounce back from the 5 of 19 in Game 4 up front along with Ken Norman. And Stanley Roberts, who had a big one on Wednesday night, a bounce back, 20 points on 10 of 16 from the field. The Clippers coached by Larry Brown. There was some doubt earlier this year as to whether he would want to stay with the club. Now he's made it clear he will stay. And Larry, of course, a man has not been shy about changing his address for the Rockets. Kenny Smith and Winston Garland in the backcourt. Garland for the injured Vernon Maxwell, who will be seeing playing time. Otis Thorpe and the outstanding rookie Robert Horry on the front line. And at center, Hakeem Olajuwon. He had a 25-point ball game in Game 4 on Wednesday. And certainly a candidate for Coach of the Year honors, Rudy Tomjanovich. In his first full season as the Rockets head coach, he is a lifer with Houston. He's been around for 22 of the Rockets' 25 years as a player, assistant coach, and now head coach. The officials, Darryl Garrettson, Mike Mathis, and Steve Javi. Darryl fresh off that controversial ending to the Charlotte-Boston series in Game 4 when there was some question as to whether a goaltending call should or should not have been made. It'll be Olajuwon and Roberts. On the opening tip, the Rockets 55-27 during the regular season. They finished blazing, winning 28 of the last 34, while the Clippers went 41-41, fourth in the Pacific, 2 games in front of the Los Angeles Lakers. Rockets controlling the opening tip. Kenny Smith is able to brush off Mark Jackson on the pick. Olajuwon, played by Manning. Houston with a 2-0 lead.
Clippers starting out soft on Olajuwon, trying to make him feel which way the defense is coming at him. Eventually they'll come hard with double teams and even triple teams on the postman.
Jackson with the fake. And here's Norman for 3. Well, the Los Angeles Clippers, not a good three-point shooting team during the regular season. In fact, 27% from downtown, worst in the league. But in the playoffs now, Mike, they are 10 of 20 from three-point land.
Regular season doesn't mean a thing. What counts is right now, in particular this afternoon, and the first one was bottom of the net.
Clippers 3, the Rockets 2. We are just underway. Smith changed his mind. Good look for Thorpe. Otis Thorpe providing a 1-point Houston advantage.
Talking to Rudy Tomjanovich yesterday, we asked him about when he first came in, things he tried to change with the Rocket team. He said basically they were known as pick and roll every time down the floor. Well, we tried to change that. They went back to it that last time down.
And that was last touch by Roberts. Houston Rockets during the regular season 31-10 here at home. They won the division despite their third place standing at the All-Star break. Here's Thorpe. Olajuwon goes to the fadeaway. Rebounded by Roberts. Crowd looking for a foul. Olajuwon broke it up. And Olajuwon took a pretty good pop. He is dazed.
They may have to go with a 20-second timeout right now just to get Hakeem back in the game and get him a second, catch his breath. There it is.
Yes, what a shot he took. Here's another look at it in that chase for the loose ball.
The transition game, hustling back on defense right there. Hakeem gets a piece of it, but it's the elbow that catches him as he runs down from behind. The deflection by Hakeem, he continues after it. Nothing intended on purpose there. Who knew who was running from behind?
Looking back at this series that is tied at 2 apiece, each team splitting at home. Game number 1, Hakeem led the way, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 blocks. Easy victory for Houston. And then The Clippers able to stop a 15-game losing streak here at the Summit, led by Ron Harper. Their first win in Houston since '86. Clippers winning by 12. That tied the series at 2. Game 3, Roberts did not score. He fouled out in only 18 minutes. Olajuwon with 32 points, and Houston 111-99. Wednesday night in game number 4, Houston blanked the last 3 minutes and 19 seconds of the game, and the Clippers were able to come from behind. They did it at the foul line. Mark Jackson hitting 3 free throws in the final half minute to tie the series at 2.
The Rockets fell to a man that they got very good shots. It was just a case of shots didn't go in down the stretch of game 4.
Otis Thorpe forced the issue. Here comes Jackson. 3 on 2. Harper. It counts, and the foul. Ron Harper to the line. He was hit by Garland.
Garland hustled back, tried to establish position, but if Ron Harper has taken off already, before you get there, what they're going to call is moving underneath, the concentration by Harper, the finish, the basket, and now the opportunity for a three-point play.
Well, Hakeem Olajuwon did suffer a cut, and he has been replaced momentarily by Carl Herrera. Herrera, 6'9", 215-pounder, out of the University of Houston by way of Venezuela. So Herrera is now on the floor up front along with Thorpe and Ori. This is Ori with it.
Occasionally, the Clippers will change up their defenses. That time they go to a little half-court 1-2-2 trap. They've got Houston out of their half-court sets right now, trying to scramble with the shot clock running down.
Ori for 3. And it's covered by Thorpe. Clippers 6 and the Rockets 4. 3 minutes have gone by. Here's Smith for 3. And a loose ball foul, says Mike Mathis, against the Clippers. It's on Ken Norman. Let's go over to him on.
All right, Marv. Olajuwon, who just took that shot in the nose by Ken Norman. The trainer is now trying to stop the bleeding, and as he was trying to stop the bleeding, Olajuwon kept saying, "Let me go back into the game," and as you can see, he is on his way back into the game. Marv?
Yes, Hakeem over at the scorer's table now, and he will check in a moment. Kenny Smith has tied the game at 6.
It's not really the trainer's decision there. If it is bleeding and if the blood is showing, the rule that the NBA has now, the blood rule, you are not allowed back on the floor until it is cleaned up and stopped.
That pass by Thorpe ends up in the crowd. Clippers with an 8-6 lead. And now here comes Olajuwon replacing Herrera. You know, you go back to last year, not too many folks here in Houston thought that Hakeem Olajuwon would be packed in light of the bickering with Charlie Thomas, the Rockets chairman of the board, but all has been settled. Hakeem signing a new contract, at least for the moment. Seems to be happy.
It's amazing how he was able to put everything behind him that's taken place in only last year, but in previous seasons, there's a maturation process that's gone on with Hakeem Olajuwon. This, by far, his best season.
Clippers with the ball. They lead 8-6. Roberts had the pass knocked away, and off the save, Kenny Smith comes up with it. Smith puts a move on Mark Jackson. Rebounded by Stanley Roberts. Jackson with the look away to set up Harper. Norman open. And Olajuwon with the rebound. Mark Jackson and Kenny Smith go back to many schoolyard battles in Queens. They have known each other since grade school, and they are matched up here in the early going. It will be Clipper ball off that Houston turnover.
Although Kenny Smith is the starting guard for the Houston Rockets, interesting how Rudy Tomjanovich plays Scott Brooks the majority of the minutes in the fourth quarter. In fact, in the final 22 games of the regular season with Brooks playing the fourth quarter, they were 19-3. Not a bad record with Brooks out there. And Smith has done a good job accepting it as Stanley Roberts shows the mobility from the top of the circle for the big man on the floor and the dunk.
Although Kenny Smith, I think, a little upset in the playoffs by being lifted in the fourth quarter. Seemed to accept it more during the regular season. Here's Thorpe. Rebound Manning. Crowd wanted a foul as Thorpe went down. Manning going all the way. Come on, Danny. Wild shots being taken here in the early going.
Both teams are very excited, very emotional, taking some shots they wouldn't want to take, trying some passes they wouldn't normally, but it's all because they're playing so hard.
And a foul has been called on the Clippers. It's on Manning, his first.
When Larry Brown acquired Stanley Roberts, he said this is one of the most talented big men in the league. If he will just make a commitment to being a great NBA basketball player. In talking with Roberts yesterday, he realizes that he needs to control his weight, get it down. He said, as soon as the season's over, I'm working on it. I want to come back a much better conditioned athlete next year. He said, I have as much talent as most of the centers in this league.
And he has shown flashes of brilliance. Houston is now 3 of 12 from the field. They get it back. The subject of trying to control weight, Clippers would love to see John Williams do the same. Williams has checked in for the first time, replacing Danny Manning, and Williams called for that blocking foul on Olajuwon.
Larry Brown has the highest regard for the basketball ability and savvy of John Williams, a player who really understands the game. It's a shame about the weight problem.
6:55 remaining. First quarter, Clippers 10, Rockets 6. Well, for Stanley Roberts, it was an up and down season, and that has been mirrored here in the playoffs. He has certainly had his peaks and valleys.
Well, in Game 1, he had 33 minutes of playing time. He fouled out of Games 2 and 3, only 18 minutes in Game 3. In Game 4, 35 minutes, a high for the playoffs, and he responded with 20 points.
Stanley Roberts, a teammate of Shaquille O'Neal for 1 year at LSU. The one-on-one practice sessions may have been more intriguing than the games between those two. Just under 7 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Clippers 10 and the Rockets 6. Houston only 3 of 12 from the field. They have missed their last 5 shots. Thorpe draws the double team. Thorpe goes at Williams, and it's rebounded by Roberts.
Talking to Larry Brown about Stanley Roberts after Game 3, Larry mentioned something. He said, you know, people forget he's just a youngster and he's a little intimidated by Hakeem Olajuwon.
Mark Jackson throwing up what he likes to call the teardrop. And he's given the Clippers a 12-6 lead.
Jump defense coming up now by the Clippers from behind. With a run and jump, Jackson goes over to double team Garland from behind. Now they match straight back up, man to man.
And they collapse on Olajuwon. Here's Ori for Thorpe. And Thorpe was fouled. Let's get back over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Mark, during that last time out, Hakeem Olajuwon was doing most of the talking, and he was talking to the guards about where he wanted the ball and how he wanted them to get the ball to him. Marvin?
All right, that foul called on Stanley Roberts as Otis Thorpe goes to the line.
Two problems when you go to jump defenses, scrambling, trapping defenses. One, you lose your advantage on the glass because you don't have a box-out assignment. Two, when you get a big man running to try and cover up like a Stanley Roberts, you are susceptible to fouls taking place. That's what happened the last time.
Clippers 12, the Rockets 8. Fifth and final game of this best of 5. John Williams with Ken Norman. Mark Jackson. Rebounded by Otis Thorpe. And Winston Garland moves it down. They double up on Hakeem. Now he got the single coverage and was able to take advantage, so they got it right back inside.
They forced the first double team. Hakeem threw it back out. It broke down the double team as they tried to regroup. Then they went right back in again. Clippers never got back to double the second time.
Norman, that is just within 2-point range. He wanted a 3. He hit one earlier. Clippers lead 14-10. So the Clippers shooting well here at the start. Olajuwon. Oh, wild turnaround shot. He's hit 3 out of 5. He has 6 points. Well, apparently that chat during the timeout has helped because they are getting Hakeem the ball in proper position.
Yeah, anywhere he is on the floor, that's where they get it to him.
Williams on the rebound, blocked again by Ori. Smith gives it to Garland. They swing the ball well. Olajuwon, yes. All 5 Rockets touched the ball on that sequence.
And it's one of the things that Rudy Tomjanovich stressed when he took over this team. One, he said, we're going to be a smarter Houston Rocket basketball team, and then we're going to play unselfishly and pass the basketball. I don't care who shoots, so long as they have a Rocket uniform on.
Foul committed by Olajuwon.
And Hakeem Olajuwon will give you an assortment of shots and different looks down inside. If the double team doesn't get there quick enough, Harper's late, he'll come spin to the middle with the little hook. Then he can turn to the right shoulder on the baseline and hit the little fadeaway going one way. And everyone knows that if he faces up from 15 feet and in, he's a very good jump shooter.
Olajuwon called for his first. It puts Roberts on the line, and he has had a horrendous time at the free throw line. He's 49% from the line. He and Ken Norman have struggled. Norman had his problems the other night. Elmore Spencer is getting set to check in. Apparently he will come off for Roberts, who remains at the scorer's table. Clippers lead by 1.
When you look at Stanley Roberts and Kenny Norman at the foul line, they have a very nice release, very nice form on the free throw. It's just in their minds that they are a problem when they get to the free throw line.
Here's the double, triple team. Olajuwon giving off to Thorpe. Shot clock running down, so Thorpe has to pop. And Harper with the rebound.
And that's how the Clippers are going to have to rebound. Gang rebound, get those guards in on the glass, get the ball first, worry about running later.
Norman goes to the scoop. Nice move by Norman. His third field goal. He has 7. Clippers lead 17-14.
And the Clippers try to go after score into a quick trap at half court, and then they come back out of it again.
3.5 left in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from the Summit in Houston. The block by Harper on Garland. And there will be 5 on the shot clock for the Rockets.
From the time he's come in the league, Kenny Norman is a scorer. That's one of the things Larry Brown liked about him prior to Larry Brown. Trade talks on a regular basis that Norman would be moved on. When Larry Brown came in, he said, I want to keep this guy. He plays hard. He likes his work ethic.
Shot clock was running down, and the Rockets fortunate to get that hop following the fling by Ori. Olajuwon, yes. Oh, he's off to the fast start. He's 5 out of 7. He's hit 10. Clippers lead 17-16, and they take a timeout with 2:59 remaining in this first quarter. Struggling midway through the season, then turned it around. How did this Rocket Club come together? We asked that of Hakeem Olajuwon.
I think maybe maturity and also experience. We've been together now for 4 or 5 years, the same team. And we know we have a lot of individual talents, but what's really important is the team goal, to play together as a team. I think we came to that realization, and that was the key.
No question about it, and it seems like the whole picture is clear now for Olajuwon, the understanding of what it takes to win ultimately, and you expect your big game players to step up in situations like this. Olajuwon 5 for 7 at this point in the game, scoring 10 points. Manning, the guy the Clippers are counting on to be the main man, 0 for 3, no points right now.
Well, he just hit that jump shot to give the Clippers a 3-point lead. Matt Bullard has come on along with Vernon Maxwell, playing with a broken bone in his wrist. Maxwell with the steal using the right hand. And that prompts the rise from the crowd. Maxwell and Smith now in the backcourt. Here's Bullard, who can shoot from deep. And goal! A 3-pointer for Matt Bullard. He goes 6'10". But has the excellent touch. Second-year man from Iowa, and the game is tied at 19. Norman is open. Rebounded by Thorpe. Vernon Maxwell played only 6 minutes in Game 4. Here's Maxwell for 3. And back comes Jackson. Rockets do get back. Norman driving on Bullard is rejected. Norman on the foul. And the Clippers lead 21-19. Vernon Maxwell broke a bone in his left wrist back on April 17th against Seattle. Missed 7 games. had the cast removed this past Monday. Doctors told him following an examination it is his decision whether to play or not. Kenny Smith hits the three. He was wearing a protective splint the other night. It is against NBA rules to wear a cast during games, but he's just using protective tape here this afternoon.
This much smaller than the racket he had on in game number 4.
Elijah Wan with the rejection. Rockets have turned things around. Maxwell hit on a reach-in by Hopper. And Ron Hopper and Brendan Maxwell were going at each other in the trash talk department the other night, and they continued in the media here the past couple of days.
And Maxwell, noted for his defense, comes up with the big steal for the Rockets. And right now, the one thing the Clippers need to do is settle down, get this crowd out of the game, get control of the tempo once again, protect the basketball.
Maxwell, a 72% free throw shooter. The mark on Vernon Maxwell in the past, as you see Herrera check back in, and Elijah Wan will depart, leads with 10 points, 5 rebounds. That had been shot selection, and I think anybody watching this Rocket club in recent years would be very surprised, or would have been surprised if you told them that he would be the second most important player come playoff time on this squad.
I don't think anyone ever questioned his heart, his desire, his toughness. What was questioned was the quick trigger. You got a guy like Elijah Wan, another big guy like Thorpe down low that shooting a high 50% from the floor. Why not get them the ball and then get your shots off of them rather than think your shot first and those big guys as an afterthought?
Carl Herrera called for the foul. Lester Connor, a late addition to the Clipper roster, has come on for the first time. Lester Connor hit that 35-foot three-pointer at the end of the first quarter the other night. Lester, a one-time Houston Rocket. Herrera hit with 2 foul calls within 10 seconds. Here's Manning on the line. And you'll recall earlier this season, as you look at Lester Connor, who's made the rounds of the NBA, Andy Manning came out with that statement that he had had enough of playing with Larry Brown, going back to his days at Kansas. I would think Larry had the same feeling, and there are many questions concerning the future of people like Manning and Norman. Mark Jackson did receive that new long-term contract toward the end of the regular season, but there are a host of questions concerning this Clipper roster. Where will these people be come next season? Herrera gets inside, and he draws the foul with 27 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Gary Grant, another player who is on that list of players who could move on and be playing with another team. And that is part of what caused Larry Brown to make some of the statements earlier this season about his future with this team. He felt if there wasn't a commitment by ownership to sign these players long-term down the road so that everyone felt comfortable, then maybe he shouldn't be there. He was looking for a situation where he could build with some of these good young players that he has here. Well, the first step is signing Mark Jackson, so they're on the way. Very happy about that, and now he hopes the rest obviously will fall in line.
Herrera, 71% free throw shooter, hits 1 out of 2. Rockets take the lead, 24-23. We are down to 20 seconds to go in this first quarter, and Williams handles against Thorpe.
Not many times you see an isolation for a 300-pounder from out at the top of the circle, but that's how talented Larry Brown feels John Williams is, and a good decision maker with the ball.
Fires for 3. And here comes Maxwell. Took a hit, and he's fouled. Foul committed by Darren Jackson, who had just checked in.
When points become so precious in the playoffs, you want to be a smart basketball player. That foul, not a good foul in this situation with just about 1.5 seconds remaining. Force him to put it down one more time, take it off balance shot. Don't give him the opportunity for 2 extra points.
Rockets with a 2-point lead. And Maxwell with his second point. He said he hopes to play 20, 25 minutes here today. And Houston has a 3-point lead. Connor got it off. It counts.
That's hard to believe that they were able to make 2 passes in 1.5 seconds and get a score. Remember, Remember, the clock does not start until it's touched the first time, so it starts right now. Then the quick pass on the backdoor move. The clock still not at 0, and the ball is out of his hand. An excellent call that time. The basket is good.
And a good play by Lester Connor, who was able to whip it down. And as a result, after one here in Houston, it's the Rockets 26, the Clippers 25.
In Houston, I'm Ahmad Rashad, joined by Billy Crystal. Not only just a fair-weather fan, a very knowledgeable fan of these L.A. Clippers.
Oh, yeah. I've been, a season ticket holder for about 5 years now, and I grew up with Larry and from Long Beach, Long Island, and, I just love these guys and how to be here. It's a big game for us.
So what about this hat here that you have? Lazar got you early?
Well, this guy, he was a good coach, he's a good assistant. Now he's got his own line of clothes. Does it work for me?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Does it work for anybody?
I don't think so. Let's get back to Marvin and Mike. Enjoy the game, Billy.
I don't know about that.
Shameless promotion. Just awful. Danny Manning with a terrific driving shot, and he was fouled by Herrera. That's his third. Manning will go to the line.
And it came out of a timeout, a little backdoor maneuver, back pick out high. Manning changes direction, goes to the front of the rim, and the conversion.
Clippers 27, Rockets 26. Herrera gets to it. Scott Brooks has come on for the first time. Brooks and Maxwell now in the backcourt. Up front, Olajuwon with Bullard and Herrera. Bullard guarded by Jaren Jackson. Here is Olajuwon and rebounded by Manning.
Stanley Roberts that time almost picked up one of those silly fouls, just reaching in, one of those flick fouls. No call, however. He got away with it.
We'll let him out of the tape. Don't worry.
Flick fouls. I think that's fair.
Gary Grant has come on for the first time. And it will be Houston ball. Stanley Roberts returns. So it is Grant with Jaren Jackson and Connor along with Manning and Roberts for the Clippers, who show some pressure. Rockets have no trouble at all.
Here's your problem when you extend the defense and a team attacks and goes through it. You leave your big people on the back line to make decisions, and you're trying to keep Roberts in the game. So basically all he can do is let them score rather than go after block shots right now this early in the contest.
And Thorpe before that shot was 1 of 7 from the field. Olajuwon with the rejection. Does it again. Here comes Maxwell battling with Connor, and a foul is called. It is on Connor. Vernon Maxwell providing the Rockets with an inspirational lift.
Well, Jaren Jackson learns his first lesson, but not a real good student because he gets a second one right away from Olajuwon.
That is 3 blocks for Hakeem.
How many times in a playoff game, deciding game number 5, would you see Jaren Jackson, Lester Connor out on the floor playing some key minutes? It's the confidence that Larry Brown has in the basketball team. He plays guys 1 through 12, depending on the situations.
And Bullard stripped by Harper. Bullard gets it back, poking it away. Olajuwon, that's an offensive foul.
Danny Manning, one of the best in the NBA at going for the Academy Awards. A good acting job that time on the reverse spin. Danny goes down, arms in the air. Olajuwon called with the offensive foul.
And this is number 2 called on Olajuwon. You hear the reaction from the crowd. Minute and a half gone by. Second quarter. Rockets 28. Clippers 27. 5th and deciding game of the series. If Houston wins, they'll open the Western Conference semifinal on Monday night, either here at the Summit against Utah or at Seattle. Connor wide open. Thorpe with the rebound. Houston would have home court on Utah, not on Seattle. So they would open against Seattle. Seattle beats Utah. Here's Maxwell for 3. If the Clippers win, they would open at Utah or Seattle on Monday night. Roberts gives it up to Manning. Manning played by Brooks. Olajuwon with a 6th rebound to go along with 3 blocks and 10 points. 3-second violation called on Thorpe. And a timeout is taken. 9:45 remaining. In the second, it's Houston with a 1-point 3-point lead.
Houston Rockets, third best team in the NBA, blocking shots. They have 4 in the game thus far. This afternoon, 3 by Olajuwon, who's the best in the NBA at over 4 per game. This series, almost 9 blocks per game. That'll change your offensive thinking a little bit.
Hakeem had 14 blocks. I should say Houston had 14 blocks in game 1. Hakeem has 25 now in the series, including the 3 this afternoon. Houston leads 28-27. Grant and Olajuwon with the box out. 2.5 gone by in the second quarter. And the Clippers have missed their last 5 shot attempts. Neither club shooting well. LA 11 for 27. Houston at 36%. They are 10 of 29. And then Thorpe is able to convert. Houston leads by 3.
It almost looked as if the play stopped when Thorpe came down with the rebound. Nobody wanted to foul him. He didn't know whether to go up or not right away. And then he made the decision, hey, if you're not going to stop me, let me get it easy too.
Manning swinging in and just did get it over the outstretched arm of both Thorpe and Olajuwon. Rockets by 1.
But that's the kind of shot that Danny Manning makes, the unorthodox one. When he faces up, nobody's in front of him, and he's wide open, he has a problem knocking those down.
Maxwell with a wild shot. He challenged Roberts. Hopper met by Maxwell. Manning being played now by Thorpe. And it's Connor guarded by the 6'10 Bullard. Connor give him a shot. They do not respect the outside touch of Lester Connor.
That's exactly right. There is no hard rotation to Lester Connor. Obviously, the scouting report says when he catches it and he looks at the rim, don't run at him hard. Make him make shots from the outside.
Clippers 31, Rockets 30. 4 minutes have gone by. In the second, Bullard for 3. Yes! That's his second from downtown.
That's a guy that the scouting report says, don't let him shoot the ball from the outside. Force him to put it on the floor, off the dribble. Terrific standstill shooter.
He has been a pleasant surprise. He certainly can spot up for his size. Again, Connor given the room. Harper open for 3. Yes! So Ron Harper converts. He has 8 points. Clippers lead 34-33. Brooks working hard against Grant. Olajuwon fouled. Took advantage of the overplay and then was tripped up.
Let's go back a moment ago to see how Bullard winds up with that open shot. Moving without the ball, Harper will be the man that comes and double teams the post. Bullard moves to an open spot, and what happens is it makes it very difficult for Harper to recover and find out where his man is. It goes in, Harper doesn't realize his guy is the open man at the top. Bullard knocks it out.
Hopper called for that foul, trying to help out on Olajuwon. Ken Norman is back, as is John Williams. Clippers lead by 1. Maxwell sets up Brooks for 3. And Hopper with the rebound. Here comes Norman. Maxwell able to stop the ball. Mark Jackson is back. Now the Clippers being a bit more patient with this setup. Norman. Last touch by John Williams. Timeout is called. 6:34 remaining. First half, Clippers lead by 1. Rudy Tomjanovich has been the architect of a dramatic turnaround by the Houston Rockets. Last year they went 42-40, did not make the playoffs, plus 13 improvement this year and winning 55 games. How have things changed? Why did they change? We talked about it with Rudy T.
3 general things I said I wanted to get done with this team, and a couple of them were pretty easy. Number 1, that we're going to play hard, that we're going to go out and bust our butts every night. Then we're going to play together. I don't care who shoots the ball as long as he's got a Rocket jersey on. but number 3, that we were going to get smarter. We're going to understand what Rocket basketball is all about, how we win. We can't win like other people. We have different personnel.
Well, their marketing program here in town calls it Rudy Ball.
He took over for Don Chaney on an interim basis last year, went 16 and 14 the rest of the way, and this season a major success. Olajuwon got a piece of it, leading to the steal. Smith with a nice setup. Thorpe went too far, and they'll jump it up.
We probably should mention that Matt Bullard had missed that last shot down. He had made 5 consecutive three-pointers, 3 for 3 in game number 4, all three-pointers. His first 2 attempts here this afternoon, 5 straight three-pointers.
And you can see the success of the Rockets from three-point land. This season, 4th in the NBA in three-point shooting. They hit a team record 387 three-point field goals. Just under 6 minutes to go. First half, Clippers with a 1-point lead. And they control the tip. Manning on the wing, taking all the way. And Los Angeles Clippers now lead by the score of 36-33.
And another turnover that time.
Manning, yes. Clippers on a run have a 5-point advantage.
Mark Jackson trying to get his defense to jump up. Here comes the trap from behind. Smith gets rid of it before they can get to him.
Reach-in foul. 9-3 run by the Clippers. Manning called for the foul, a second.
The conversion by Danny Manning. Some of the fans felt that he had traveled, taking too many steps. Mark Jackson encourages the defense to get back and force more turnovers.
Well, Olajuwon thought he was fouled in the act. Crowd reacting as Darryl Garrettson is giving the ball to Houston out of bounds. They say a non-shooting foul.
The reason once Olajuwon heard the whistle go off, he was intending to pass, but when he heard the whistle, he actually did get the ball up on the backboard, so he was correct in what he was thinking.
Sloppy pass by Olajuwon. Another turnover. Hopper can't take advantage. Jackson. Well, he's able to get out of the traffic, and he'll reset.
Yes, and those 3 block shots by Hakeem will make you think twice about taking it up in the lane with him standing behind you.
Clippers with the ball and a 5-point lead. Shot clock down to 6. Norman from deep. Rebound handled by Thorpe. And it's thrown away. Bullock saves it, but here comes Jackson. Bullock left to the backcourt. Jackson from Norman. Norman with the driving hook. And Olajuwon out of the pass. Traveling violation. Good play by Hopper, leading to the call. He set up Smith.
If Ron Harper gave him enough room to take 1 complete step before any contact took place, then it should not be a block. Kenny Smith actually shuffled the feet first before body to body. It was a good call.
Houston with their 11th turnover. The LA Clippers with 7. Jackson off the dribble. The Clippers lead 38-33. We come up on 4 minutes to go. First half, Kenny Smith. And the Rocket shooting has been way off here in the second quarter.
And if you're Larry Brown, you're happy right now because the score is right around where you want to keep it. When they're around 95-96 in this series, that's a chance for them to win.
Angry crowd here at the Summit. The home team down by 5 as timeout is called.
New York. Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll preview Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Utah Jazz and the Seattle Supersonics, focusing on that matchup at power forward between Shawn Kemp and Karl Malone. Also an update on the Celtics' Reggie Lewis. We'll get to that in just a few minutes, but right now, back to the Summit in Houston, rejoining Marv and Mike.
Thank you, Bob. And here at the Summit, 4:04 remaining first half. Clippers with a 5-point lead. Clippers only 6 of 16, but it's certainly been enough. Houston 3 of 10, and they've been turning the ball over in the second quarter. Roberts rejected. Ori came over to help out. Good play by the rookie from Alabama, Robert Horry, Houston's first-round draft pick, the 11th selection overall. And he is an exceptional all-around athlete that has gone even further than expectations. Here's Harper, just did get it off, beating the 24, rebounded by Olajuwon.
The crowd wanting the foul on Stanley Roberts coming over the back, but you mentioned Robert Horry. Every player talks about the savvy that he has, a perfect understanding of the game, all the small things that make a difference.
John Williams called for that foul. He was complaining that Thorpe was hanging out to his uniform.
Well, Larry Brown told him to body up, and he certainly did that.
A little physical humor from the Czar here now. Throwing a little cheap shot, matter of fact.
John Williams was upset because he felt that Otis had grabbed his jersey and trying to free himself, and that's the way he was holding John off. Lucky it wasn't a tearaway jersey. Oh.
The Czar continuing on the same thing. Here is Smith. Yes. Well, the Rockets with their first field goal in some time, and they cut it to a 3-point Clipper lead. Mark Jackson has run this ball club so well. Larry Brown pleased with the all-around play of Jackson right throughout the season. Here's Hopper. Yes. Clippers 40, Rockets 35. Hopper has 10. Manning is the high man for the Clippers with 12. Olajuwon with 10, but has not scored in some time. Thorpe has 8. Smith with 7. Smith with a bad pass, too lively. And it's another Houston turnover. Jackson with the spin, but met by Horry and throws it back out.
That was the 12th turnover for the Rockets. They're averaging 16 a game in the playoffs. That's 12 already here in the first half.
Here is Hopper, air ball. Olajuwon. And it's Norman for the rebound. So the LA Clippers providing all kinds of problems once again for the Houston Rockets. This Clipper club very difficult to figure. They take 2 out of 2 from the Knicks during the regular season, 3 out of 5 against Phoenix, beat Utah twice, beat Cleveland. They take Chicago to overtime and then lose. They go only 41-41 in the regular season. Smith called for that foul. But here in the playoffs, they have brought the Rockets, winners of the Midwest Division, to a 5th and deciding game. And we mentioned the good play all around of Mark Jackson, who came over in that major deal from the Knicks involving Charles Smith, Doc Rivers, and Bo Kimball. And Mark has done the job. In fact, Larry Brown has been, we mentioned, so satisfied with the play of Mark Jackson. We talked about it with him yesterday after practice.
He's been our most consistent player. He's been a leader under very difficult circumstances because we've led by committee for most of the year. I think we have more captains than they have in the NHL. But he's just been a marvelous addition to our club. He's a winner. I've never faulted his effort in one practice or one game. I've never faulted his willingness to try to win and try to do what I've asked him to do. He's made a difficult year one that I'm really proud of because of him.
And Larry Brown did give credit to Pat Riley for resurrecting Mark Jackson's career. Felt that when Pat went into New York, it gave a new surge of energy and confidence, and he just tried to play off that. He has been the biggest fan of Mark Jackson since he came over to the Clippers.
Like the line by Larry Brown as Horry is able to recover. Olajuwon with the head fake. Bad shot. Rockets' shot selection has been just awful here in the second quarter.
And Hakeem looks a little tired right now, as if a little fatigue has set in. He did not get the lift on that shot. Had a wide open 12-footer facing up, and instead took it into traffic and wound up shooting an off-balance shot.
Larry Brown saying we've had more captains than they do in the NHL. Smith. So the Rockets trail by 5. Clippers 42, Rockets 37. Just under 1 minute to go in this first half.
Kenny Smith trying to keep the ball out of Mark Jackson's hands because he's the guy that runs the show for him. Now they'll let Danny Manning do it from the top of the circle.
Manning with the fake. Danny Manning with 14. He's come on strong. He's hit 6 of 11. And the Clippers now lead by 7. They match their biggest lead of the game. Manning and Harper will sit down. Grant, Williams are back. 37 seconds left in this first half. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report coming up in a moment. Garland not able to hit. And the Clippers will look to nurse the ball.
I would think they'll run this thing down as far as they can. The 24-second clock, leave a differential of about 3+ seconds remaining for the Houston Rockets. But they want to go in, protecting this lead, getting a good shot to end this half.
But they turn it over. Roberts did not like the call. Has some words with Mike Mathis. And the Rockets will get it back. Houston with only 11 points thus far in the second quarter. Here's another look at it. Foul was called apparently on Roberts. A charge on Roberts. Rockets for the game only 14 of 41. 34% shooting. Clippers at 44%. 8 seconds to go in the half. Clippers by 7. Down to 2. Down to 1. Smith. Will it count? Yes, it does. Mike Mathis made the call at center court. Olajuwon with the tip. So at halftime, it's the Clippers 44 and the Rockets 39.
Kenny Smith does his job. He gets it up on the backboard. Olajuwon, nobody on him, gets a running start. The elevation goes up over the top of everyone. And this is a controlled tap situation. If the red light is on, which it is, the shot should not count.
And the conclusion is
that the basket should not have been good. They counted it. It's on the scoreboard.
Larry Brown did not seem to complain. But let's see another look at it.
The red light is on top of the backboard. The light is on. The ball is still in contact with his hand. Therefore, the basket should not count. That's what the red light is for.
And for Olajuwon, his only points of the second quarter, so apparently a break for the Rockets. They score only 13 in the second quarter. They're down by 5. In a moment, Bob Costas with the Prudential halftime report.
Got it with Bill Walton and Peter Bessie in just a little bit. Bob Costas back in New York. A story out of Boston today, reported in the Boston Globe, said that Reggie Lewis of the Celtics might undergo surgery, possibly as early as this weekend, to implant a device in his chest to correct the heart arrhythmia which caused him to collapse on the court 9 days ago. Jackie McMullen and Judy Foreman reported the story, and they quoted sources saying that there is hope that Lewis can return to play again. Meanwhile, 75-year-old Red Auerbach checked himself into Mass General Hospital in Boston today after suffering some chest discomfort. Apparently, Auerbach was lightheaded and dizzy after dinner last night. When we come back, a look at the Shawn Kemp-Karl Malone matchup in today's second game on NBC. That's next after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Texture to postseason play, and the matchup everybody's been talking about in this series is Karl Malone versus Shawn Kemp. We asked Quinn Buckner to take a closer look.
Doctor down low to the mailman. Go to the hoop. Karl Malone.
You know, last year Karl pretty much had his own way with us during the playoffs. I think this year he's making him work for everything he's getting.
Off the mark, trapped on the weak side, Kemp with the tip. He channels right by Eaton.
Shawn Kemp never played college ball, yet he finds himself at the heart of today's Game 5 showdown with the Utah Jazz and their all-star forward, Karl Malone.
Talent-wise, it's not a lot of them out there like him, and I'll be the first to admit that.
But is he ready to shoot it out with the game's best?
Oh, yeah.
Karl, you think Shawn wants to be the new sheriff in town?
Well, you know what I did, Quinn, going into this series, because I remember last year before we played them, everybody was saying the key to this series is the Malone-Shawn Kemp matchup. And I went into this series trying to get my mindset that this series is not going to rely on what Carl do, what Sean do, but I come out the first game and he scored 29. So I think that sort of woke me up. You know,
got your attention?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
Brown's got it. Fake right, turn left. Bank it up and in.
Me and Carl has some pretty good matchups. I think Carl is indeed probably the best power forward in the game, and therefore I think sometimes the fans see myself an upcoming player, and maybe see me fulfilling his shoes one day.
Got on the left side, Kemp squares, baseline jumper, he got it over Karl Malone.
The one thing I'd rather for him to do, I really don't want him to get to the basket. He's such an explosive jumper that anytime he get in the area, he's capable of dunking.
Malone's game is not as spectacular. It's a steady, focused attack that never lets up, especially when it counts.
In the fourth quarter, it seems like he gets a hunger for the ball and he wants it in the paint, and you have to take your hats off to that.
Carl's route of success is every play is run for him. He's usually the first or second option in almost everything that they run. Sean's route to success has to come through the flow of the game, the ball bouncing the right way, a little bit of luck.
But luck doesn't create leadership, and that's exactly what's expected of Sean Kemp in the future. It's something he might learn from the man who'll be in his face during today's final showdown.
I think I like playing against Carl because it not only makes myself better, but it's a challenge to myself, and I enjoy that.
I would like to see him just totally blossom, and see one of the greatest talents to play the game. But I don't want him to do it for the next 4 or 5 years while I'm playing.
All right, Bill, what do you see there between Kemp and Malone?
Sean Kemp is not fundamentally sound enough at this point in his career to be able to take over a series, particularly this late in the series. But Seattle reached their rhythm in Game 4, where all the front court was playing well and the perimeter guys were filling up the shots. As far as Karl Malone is concerned, he is putting up far too many shots for the numbers that he's actually accumulating. But he's limited because he can't rotate out of the basket area because nobody else for Utah can slide down in there. It's very difficult for Karl Malone. If it comes down to the wire, though, look for Karl Malone.
What Malone has going for him is John Stockton, an all-star guide. And, Kemp has Gary Payton, who sometimes needs a guide himself.
But I think that with...
You were looking at me waiting for that reaction. Just,
That's
it's
right,
typical for you. I just give it the little half nod, that's all.
Seattle had... Eddie Johnson with a huge game in Game 4. He's not noted for great back-to-back performances. Ricky Pierce, who has not been playing well, will have to have a big offensive game for Seattle to succeed today.
He does back-to-back. He has back-to-back seasons. That's what he does. He'll come back next season around February and have that big game, Eddie.
Let's talk about the Clippers and the Rockets. 44-39 in favor of L.A. at the half. As I see it, the whole story is the defense that Larry Brown has designed, and that's going to leave open shots on the perimeter for the Rockets, and they have not knocked them down.
The Clippers are playing big and physical and staying out of foul trouble. Stanley Roberts, a big key there. On the offensive end, Ron Harper. When he shoots the ball well, the Clippers are very difficult to beat.
When Lester Connor makes jump shots, the Clippers are going to win this series. It's over.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
You're saying it's over?
When Harper and Lester Connor make jump shots, open jump shots, that sums it up. Bad omen for Houston.
Let me just say this. If, in fact, they move on to the next round, thereby increasing their playoff share, are they going to cut you in? Because they were dead and buried. In fact, you were more or less delivering the eulogy, and they say that your remarks a week ago lit a fire under them.
I don't think you were privy to the conversations I had in Los Angeles this week, Bob.
Were they displeased? Were they somewhat displeased?
The Clippers are playing very well this half.
No comment from Bill.
A rare moment of diplomacy. We'll send it back to the summit for the second half of the Rockets and Clippers, although according to Bessie, why bother to watch? The Clips leading it by 5 and heading into the next round. Marv Albert and Mike Fratello will rejoin you right after these messages from your local station. That mail from Houston goes there.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Rockets 39, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad. Only 13 points for the Rockets in the second quarter. Very poor shooting and some bad shot selection as a result. 6 of 18 from the field, for Houston in that second quarter.
I would think that Larry Brown is very happy with the way his team has scrambled defensively, trying to keep them off balance, trying to keep the ball out of Olajuwon's hands as much as possible. And you live and die with those decisions that the outside people are not going to beat you. And then when you can reduce the turnovers that they have in the first half, it's a big plus.
All right, let's take a close-up look at the halftime statistics. The Miller Genuine Draft halftime stats. Overall shooting, Clippers 19 of 43 for 44%. Houston for the half at 15 of 43, 35%. Danny Manning with a good first half. He has 14 points. And this is the story off the boards. Houston with the edge, 31-25, led by Hakeem Olajuwon. Ahmad Rashad is alongside the coach of the Clippers, Larry Brown. Let's go to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Coach, up by 5 points at halftime, but you forced, defensively, you got to be pretty happy. You forced the Rockets into 12 turnovers.
Yeah, I think we defended pretty well. They're awful hard to stop because they can spread you out so well, and Hakeem's playing so unselfishly. But, you know, if we got to have that kind of defensive half, and then hopefully we can luck out and make some shots.
What about the tempo? Is that to your liking?
I don't know. I'm too nervous, Ahmad. I just want them to play and have fun, and you know, I hope both teams play well. But, you know, I like us to run because we don't shoot the ball well, but we got to get our defense set, and we can't take bad shots because they're such a great rebounding team. So maybe this is a good tempo.
All right, good luck to you in the second half, Coach. All right, back to you, Mark.
And the Clippers with a 5-point lead. When we come back, we'll have the second half of play. Welcome back to the Summit. They've announced it as a capacity crowd, 16,611. But on the disappointing side, they had to buy up the remaining seats to make it a sellout to lift the local television blackout. Some of the upper reaches of the Summit seats are empty, which has to disappoint Houston Rocket management. We said right at the start that the Rockets must be able to hit the perimeter shots because Clippers usually are successful when they collapse on Hakeem Olajuwon, but they have not been hitting from the outside.
Normally during the regular season they shoot 49%. In the playoffs thus far they were shooting 49% as a team. In that first half, just 35%.
And Ron Harper drills it home. Clippers now lead by 7. I know Clipper fans are well aware. Larry Brown certainly can remember last season in their opening round playoff against Utah. That series was tied at 2 going into a 5th game in Salt Lake City. And the Clippers led by 12 at the half and lost the game. It's like Harper came up hobbling. Right here, the Clippers lead by 7, and a 20-second timeout is called with Ron Harper pulling up. He's bothered by a strained right knee ligament. That injury took place in game number 1, and they are checking him over.
And it was questionable whether he would be able to come back after game number 1 and play in the series. Well, he certainly came back. He said a little motivation provided by Bill Walton helped inspire the Clipper basketball team. But there, as he goes for the steal, again, turns or twists that knee and aggravates the injury.
Yes, our man Bill apparently receiving credit of sorts for the Clipper turnaround because he questioned their pride and lack of motivation. And the Clippers responded. They say they were so angry about the remarks made by Bill, who also doubles up along with his work at NBC as one of the color commentators for the Los Angeles Clippers. But you have to wonder about that. Does it take strong remarks from someone now in the media to get a ball club going?
I'm sure Larry Brown will use whatever he can to get the team fired up, just get a win.
Minute gone by, third quarter, Clippers lead by 7. Garland and Smith in the backcourt. Ori, Olajuwon, and Thorpe up front. Here's Smith laying it off. Recovered by Garland. Shot clock at 8. Garland looked like Jackson got a piece of it. Norman with the rebound. Winston Garland 0 for 5.
There's that face-up jumper by Manning, which he does not make. It's the hard ones that he winds up making.
And Otis Thorpe has struggled. He is now 3 for 10. Jackson gets inside. He's rejected by Ori. 3-on-2. Garland for Thorpe. Well, Otis Thorpe, usually among the leaders in field goal percentage because he goes for those high percentage buckets, shot 56% from the field this season, 5th in the NBA, but he has been off the mark here today. Clippers now lead by 5. They double up on Manning. Open man is Jackson.
You're not going to get much better shots than that. Good ball movement, understanding of where the defense is trapping and rotating to. It's a matter of making the simple in-between shots.
Horry able to recover after he missed the stuff attempt and then stripped by Harper, who apparently is all right. Harper from Norman. Beautiful pass from Ken Norman to set up Ron Harper, and the foul.
Foul is called on Houston's 22.
Kenny Norman, who has that scorer's mentality, faces up, sees the rim, brings the defense to him, and then spots his cutting teammate Harper down the middle of the lane for the score.
Foul on Garland. Ron Harper for the line. Ron has made it back from reconstructive knee surgery. Came back strong last year. Still not back to the slashing drive style on a regular basis, but he will go to the lane from time to time.
It's the first thing that Larry Brown told Ron Harper when he took over this Clipper basketball team. He said, I'd like to see the old Ron Harper, the driving, slashing Ron Harper, not this one that suddenly is pulling up, taking all kinds of three-point attempts.
Thorpe gets inside. Olajuwon on the follow. Hakeem began the game very strong, but then was cooled down. Scored only 2 points in the second quarter. That certainly a basket you could dispute. That the buzzer follow, that is, we took another look, should not have counted. Manning is rejected. Manning on the follow. And back come the Rockets, who are now down by 6.
Well, part of the reason that Hakeem may not have been able to get on the roll. There's Hakeem with the follow on the missed shot. One of the reasons he may not have been able to get on a big roll is the number of turnovers. They never really got the ball consecutive trips down the floor and got it into his hands.
And for the first time in some time, this crowd is into it. 3-point attack. Ken Norman. Just checking with Darren Garrison if he received credit for the 3. He did. That's his second from downtown today. Clippers 52, the Rockets 45. Olajuwon pops it back out. Olajuwon off a double team. Down one on the foul. Olajuwon on the recovery is fouled.
Go back a moment ago to show Hakeem, who on the miss by Maxwell comes in and just about jumps into the rim himself in putting the ball down for the follow-up 2. A little bit different look in transition. Wipes out a couple of the Clippers with a brush screen and then goes right after the missed shot.
That is a non-shooting foul. Stanley Roberts collecting his 3rd. Smith. And Norman gets to it. Clippers have a 7-point lead. 7.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Manning lost it.
Danny Manning was trying to find Stanley Roberts, lost the handle.
Maxwell won't count. Offensive foul.
The question is, was position established there out away from the rim? Darryl Garrison made the call, felt that Mark Jackson was in good defensive position.
Nice look from Mark. He trying to scare a cameraman. John Williams has checked back. Danny Manning departing, leads with 14. And here is Harper. 5 minutes gone by in the 3rd. Leg block has been called. They get a new 24. Horry, Olajuwon, and Thorpe up front. Smith and Maxwell in the backcourt. Houston only 3 of 13 from the field here in the 3rd. Olajuwon had it knocked away.
Mark Jackson feels that the ball went off of Olajuwon's leg. He wants it to go down the other way. They're going to keep it there in Houston's hands.
But first, a timeout has been called.
Once it goes on the floor, the hands go in, the ball then out of bounds off of what the official feels was the Clippers.
6:52 to go in the third. Houston, a look at the Western brackets. Seattle and Utah will meet following the Rockets and the Clippers. That series is tied at 2. The winner of that series will face the winner of this one. Game number 5 coming up here on NBC. Dick Enberg and the Cotton Man, Cotton Fitzsimmons, joining ranks with Dick out in Seattle. Now, if Houston wins here today, they will open the Western Conference semifinal series Monday night, either here at the Summit against Utah, or if Seattle wins this afternoon, that game will be played at Seattle. Houston would have home court at Utah, not at Seattle. If the Clippers win, they would open at Utah or Seattle on Monday night. Olajuwon knocked out of bounds by Norman of the Clippers. The Clippers lead by 7 with 6:38 remaining in this third quarter. Houston is now 3 of 14 from the field in the third after scoring only 13 points in the second. Olajuwon has 18. And the Clippers now lead by 5. And once again, Harper is shaken up. And the Clippers have to take a timeout.
Ron Harper was injured as he almost came up with the steal. He had reached in, caused the deflection, went after it right in front of the Clipper bench, and that's where he was injured on this last series.
So a full timeout is taken with 6.5 remaining in the third.
After Ron Harper knocks the ball free from Kenny Smith, there's a scramble for the ball, and the collision takes place there, almost like a whiplash, as Akeem's body hits Ron Harper in the top of the head. Grabs his head, his neck, he's dizzy, he sees stars. Reminiscent of a collision a few years back when Adrian Dantley and Vinnie Johnson collided in the playoffs.
And you saw how important Ron Harper has been to this ball club. Hurt his knee in that game 1, scored only 2 points, had 15 today. Team position, Dr. Tony Daly and the Clipper trainer Keith Jones checking him out. Rockets get it back. They are down 52-47. Halfway through the third quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from the Summit in Houston. Smith able to penetrate. Kenny Smith taking it to the basket. And the Rockets are down by 3. Vernon Maxwell now in the backcourt with Smith, Ori, Olajuwon, Thorpe up front. John Williams with it. Grant and Jackson at the guards for the Clippers. Grant can't find the shot and then is picked off by Ori. Bad pass, a casual toss. Olajuwon kicks it out. Maxwell for 3. Rebound, Olajuwon. Gets it off and hits. Somehow he was able to release that shot, and he's brought Houston within 1.
Stanley Roberts never turned and put a body on Olajuwon that time. Wide open to go for the rebound.
Grant and the Rockets with a chance to take the lead. They've scored 6 unanswered. 5 minutes to go in the third. Olajuwon. Rebound Jackson.
Larry Brown telling Mark Jackson, push it right back at him. Let's see if we can get an easy shot in transition rather than struggle against their half-court defense.
Roberts setting up against Olajuwon. Norman and Thorpe once again presenting an opportunity for the Rockets to take the lead. Thorpe has 10 rebounds. Clippers 52, Rockets 51. 5th and deciding game of this series. Smith. Ori draws the foul.
Hakeem Olajuwon so tough at going to the boards. Roberts turns to look at the ball, forgets about Olajuwon. Hakeem in the middle of 4 Clipper players somehow comes up, turns, and converts off the glass.
Grant called for the foul. And Ori to the line. For more on Ron Harper, let's go to Ahmad for this report.
All right, Marv, I just spoke with the team, Dr. Tony Daly, and the trainer, Keith Jones, and Harper suffered sort of a whiplash effect on his neck. They put ice on it, then they put some, just sort of some grease on the back of it to try to give him a massage, to try to loosen that neck up. He is available, and he's on his way back into the game, Marv.
And Ron Harper has checked back in. Robert Ori with his first point of the afternoon. So Ori on the score sheet. And the Rockets with a 53-52 lead. They come from behind. 8-0 run by Houston.
So in that brief stint for Gary Grant, he had one turnover, one miss from the perimeter, and fouled Robert Ori.
Danny Manning right back. He has 16, Clippers by 1. Last time the Rockets led, it was by the score of 26-23. Olajuwon stopped by Harper. Rockets get back, and Jackson pulls it up. Harper posting up on Maxwell. Getting help from Ori. Shot clock at 7. Harper with the head fake, and that was a bad play.
I'm not sure he realized how much time was left on the 24-second clock. Someone may have yelled out to him that he had to get it up.
Clippers have a 1-point lead. Maxwell with the step. And tipped home by Olajuwon.
No one is going to the glass for the Los Angeles Clippers. It's almost as if they're standing watching, expecting the next guy to get the job done. That's not how it works. You have to go after the basketball. Gang rebound.
Rockets with a 1-point lead. Roberts gets inside. Oh, nearly took the rim down and gets some words from Vernon Maxwell. Maxwell was in his face. Maxwell for 3. Olajuwon with the rebound. And he's fouled. Yes, and it counts.
This almost shades of Game 3 when Olajuwon played like a man possessed. There was just nothing that the Clippers could do to stop him. Whether he's following up missed shots, and that time actually goes over his own teammate Otis Thorpe to tip the ball in. If you don't put a body on him, he is going to continue to jump over everyone. Someone must check him off. And then his ability to convert while being fouled, he's trying to help the officials out just in case they missed the fact that the ball went in.
And that foul on Roberts is 4th. Olajuwon with 12 of his 24 points here in the third. They are chanting for Hakeem. 25 points. 16 rebounds, 4 blocked shots.
Since the Ron Harper injury, the Rockets have outscored them 11-2. They were down 5 points, and now the Rockets are up 4.
Danny Manning triple team, but unleashed the hook. Here's Maxwell, yes. Oh, the Clippers need a timeout. And Larry Brown will talk it over. The Houston Rockets with a 19-5 run. The Clippers calling for the timeout, and Hakeem Olajuwon has been unstoppable.
Well, Olajuwon will beat you in a number of ways, but when you let him go after the rebounds and sweep the boards and then initiate the fast break, it's going to produce very easy scores for this Rocket team. Maxwell has struggled from the outside, but when you get him that close to the basket, you even make shots from that close to the basket.
Let's not get crazy.
I don't want to get carried away, I realize that.
But Olajuwon has turned it since the second quarter where he was held to the 1 field goal. That was it.
What happened is that the Clippers, who were maintaining a 5-point lead, lost the momentum. They lost their energy once Ron Harper was injured. They brought in Gary Grant. Grant proceeds to turn the ball over, takes an ill-advised long jump shot coming cold off the bench and then fouls immediately to turn the entire game around.
Hakeem Olajuwon averaging just under 29 points per game in this series, averaging just under 14 rebounds, 5.5 blocks, and 5 assists. Now that is impressive.
That 5+ assists over his regular season average of 3.5, and the reason because the Clippers are trying to get the ball out of his hands, and he is so willing to oblige. He said, I'm willing to pass it to my open teammates. That's what the team aspect is all about.
Now let's get back to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marv, while the Clippers defense was so well in the first half, creating those 12 turnovers during that last time out, Larry Brown kept harping on his team that they're playing too soft on the defensive end and not picking up the Rockets early enough. He was really harping on them getting back on defense. Marv?
All right, at a 19-5 run by Houston at one point, the Clippers led 49-41. Rockets now lead by 6.
Houston has done a better job of protecting the basketball. They had 11 turnovers at halftime, only 3 up to this point in the third quarter.
Manning, a three-point attempt by Norman. Now they say a 2. Eddie Norman hit a 3 from that spot, obviously a bit deeper earlier this third quarter. Rockets 60, Clippers 56. For 3. Kenny Smith drains the three-pointer. He has shot well. 6 of 10, 13 points.
And Rudy Tomjanovich has an interesting decision to make. He had a talk with Kenny Smith about being out in the fourth quarter in prime time if Smith was playing well. Well, he's playing well right now. We'll wait and see what Rudy T does as far as bringing in Brooks or staying with Smith.
3-second violation called on the Clippers.
Kenny Smith, one of the players who extends the opponent's defense, his ability to knock down three-point shots, and excited, calling out those signals to his teammates that they're ready to make their run.
Kenny Smith, number 4 in three-point shooting this season. Maxwell setting up Olajuwon. And Hakeem will go to the line. Foul is called. It's on John Williams, his 4th. Here's Ahmad.
All right, Marv, you mentioned earlier that Kenny Smith and Mark Jackson have known each other almost their entire lives. Well, the trash talking has started. When Kenny Smith just buried that three-pointer, he looked over at Mark and said, don't you ever back off on me.
Right from the schoolyards of Queens. And Kenny Smith has come up very big this afternoon. 6 of 10, including 2 from three-point range. Rockets with a 65-56 lead. Just under 1 minute remaining in this third quarter. Jackson. Mark Jackson coming off a bad shooting game. Maxwell. Rockets pulling away. Now lead by 11.
Larry Brown trying to settle his team down, tell him to get back in and run the half-court sets. I need a couple baskets here to break this momentum of the Rockets.
And the call away from the ball. A kneeing foul on Ford.
Only the second foul in this third quarter by the Houston Rockets, so no free throw opportunities for the Clippers as a result of any bonus opportunities.
Williams throws up a 3. 25 seconds to go in the third. Olajuwon is blocked off the double team. Manning got a piece of it. Jackson recovers. Final seconds. Third quarter. Jackson for Williams. Here's Harper. Time running down. Three-point attempt. And that's the end of the third. A burst by the Rockets. Sparked by Hakeem Olajuwon. The Clippers with only 12 points in the third. Olajuwon with 13 of his 25 coming in the third quarter. Rockets lead 67-56. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. and they outscored the Clippers by the count of 28-12. Los Angeles Clippers only 12 points in the third. Houston turning it around. They had a 13-point second quarter, and the Rockets have the biggest lead of the game, a margin of 11.
You see that 12-point third quarter. That should not be a surprise. Houston, we mentioned earlier, one of the better shot blocking teams. Third best defensive field goal percentage. Third best at holding their opponents to under 100 points per game. So they can do it defensively. And in fact, many people felt just before Maxwell was injured, breaking that bone in the wrist, that their defense may have been the best at that time in the league.
Maxwell still on the floor, along with Smith in the backcourt. Thorpe up front with Olajuwon, and Bullitt is back. Matt Bullitt has come off the bench to hit 2 out of 3, both from three-point land. Shot clock is down to 6. Bullitt discussing matters with Darryl Garrettson. Shot with the 24 running down. It is all going the Rockets' way. They now lead 70-56. Brennan Maxwell getting the playing time despite the broken bone in his left wrist. Manning putting the move on Thorpe and trying to set up Williams.
Snowball gets going, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You have to find a way to break that momentum. Right now, the Clippers are not able to solve that problem.
And it gone by in the fourth quarter. Maxwell again for 3. Rebound, Olajuwon. He's had his way. 27 points. 18 rebounds for Hakeem Olajuwon. And the Rockets now lead 72-56. Foul call against Houston.
The shot clock was actually around 5 when he turns and just lets this one go. His hope was to get it off the backboard and maybe Hakeem will go get it. But instead, it goes in. He loves it.
Aaron Maxwell with 9 points. Thorpe called for the foul. Scott Brooks has checked in, replacing Kenny Smith, who heard it from the crowd. 14 points and 4 assists for Smith. Here's Jackson, rejected by Olajuwon. That is block number 5.
The ability to change or block shots. Hakeem spearheading that Houston defense.
Danny Manning with 18. Rockets lead by 14. The last playoff series won by Houston was back in 1987. They beat Portland in the first round. They've lost their last 5 playoff series. Lester Connor. And a loose ball foul against the Clippers.
There were a lot of bodies and a lot of pounds banging in there under the basket on that loose ball foul. Larry Brown encouraging his team to become more aggressive. Manning goes after it. Roberts goes down. And the ball goes over to the Rockets.
Yes, Manning called for his 3rd. I mentioned the last playoff series won by Houston. The last playoff series won by the Clipper franchise back in 1976. When their ancestors, the Buffalo Braves, beat Philadelphia in the first round. That was a best of 3. They took 2 of 3, and then they were knocked off by Boston. That playoff series victory over Philly, the only playoff success in the history of the franchise. Here's Brooks. And it's handled by Connor. Connor and Jaren Jackson are back on the floor. Here's Mark Jackson, who has not shot well once again, but he has compiled 9 assists. And it's Connor hitting. As we mentioned earlier, they will give him the outside shot anytime he wants it. He's hit a couple, though. Rockets lead by 12.
Clippers need to go to their hurry-up offense. They need to produce a few turnovers, come up with a couple steals, and then get going in transition.
And Mark Jackson tries to do just that. Rockets get back. Roberts rejected by Olajuwon. Here's Jaren Jackson. Rebounded by Manning. And it's Thorpe with 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter.
The 12-point lead is still within reach with all this time remaining, almost 9 minutes remaining. The Clippers just need to come down and get some good high percentage shots and a few stops at the defensive end.
Brooks was able to penetrate, but his pass was blocked. Jackson to the spin and the reverse. Nice move by Mark Jackson, and the Rockets won a 20. Timeout is called. 8.5 remaining. In the fourth quarter, Houston calls for a 20-second timeout, with the Clippers having scored the last 6 points.
I'm not sure that Mark Jackson realized Olajuwon was this close behind. Hakeem just misses the swipe.
Now they've changed it to a full timeout. We'll be right back.
Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back to June of 1986. The Rockets taking on the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. 7-foot Hakeem Olajuwon teaming with the 7'4" Ralph Sampson, forming the Twin Towers, but Boston captured the championship 4 games to 2. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And what a performance by Hakeem Olajuwon here this afternoon. 27 points, 19 rebounds, and 6 blocked shots. He had 9 rejections in game number 1 here at the Summit. 8:20 remaining. Rockets lead by 10. Good play by Connor. He's in there for his defense. In college, they used to call him Lester the Molester because he would bother the opposition defensively. At Oregon State, Lester Connor was a sensational defensive presence. He's carried it to the pros, and he caused that turnover. Manning played by Herrera. Connor had it knocked away, and the ball goes back to Houston.
Well, you mentioned he was a terrific defensive player, but right now at the offensive end, he's a hesitant offensive player. The shots are coming his way, and that's by design because Houston is not running at him quickly. He's got to take them and make them.
Maxwell for 3. Well, the Clippers hanging around. At one point, it appeared the Rockets were about to blow them out. Jackson throws the teardrop, not able to hit. Rebound Manning, and it's down to an 8-point lead.
And now Larry Brown will gamble and go to that little bit of jump defense, perhaps run and double the basketball, try and rotate up for an interception, try somehow to get more possessions, to get more shots. Here's the half trap that time by Connor.
8-0 run by the Clippers. Shot clock at 6. Smith with the step. His pass intercepted by Harper. And back comes Jackson. Jackson against the backpedaling. Maxwell was able to take advantage. And the Clippers have come roaring back. It is now only a 6-point Houston lead.
Momentum in the game changes side to side. The little spurts, the runs that you get in the game. Right now, the Clippers can feel it. They're close enough. They force Houston into another timeout.
It is a 20-second timeout. The Clippers with 10 consecutive points, and they are down by only 6.
By rotating back and cutting off on the downside, Ron Harper comes up with the possession, which enables the Clippers to get off in transition. Jackson catches Vernon Maxwell backing up, takes it right at him, tries to draw contact, gets the basket.
6 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the game. Rockets 72, the Clippers 66. Well, they call him Turbo Booster. And Czar, he's done it again. Unbelievable. And this man has done it in the second half. 27 points, 19 rebounds, 6 block shots. The NBA record most blocks in a game is 10, held by Mark Eaton of Utah. Olajuwon has done it. Let's see, he had 9 on one occasion. That's the NBA playoff record. So Hakeem with 6 to this point. 6.5 remaining in the game. He stepped out.
Larry Brown came out of the timeout and went right to the half court, trapping defense. It's just kind of a double team and scramble, trying to disrupt the offense. Kenny Smith tries to turn the corner, steps on the sideline. Another possession for the Clippers.
10 unanswered points by the Los Angeles Clippers. Elijah on the back tap, but it's handled by Connor. Here's Harper with the room. Challenges Elijah.
Harper just trying to get the 2 free throws out of it. Instead, no call.
Rockets 72, Clippers 66. Once again, the Rockets have Scott Brooks on the floor in these final moments. And Elijah now has 29 points.
Well, Stanley Roberts can't stand behind Elijah when he's that low in the post area. At least come around 3/4 on the top side. Don't allow the entry pass to go in so easily.
Drawing the double team. What a low percentage pass. A behind the back baseline attempt by Manning.
But you can see the jump hook by Hakeem Olajuwon comes from about 3 feet in front of the rim, too close to the basket.
Maxwell lost it, recovered. Smith for 3. Just did get a piece of the rim. And here's Jackson protecting the dribble. Connor bottled up by Brooks, who gets the jump ball. Good hustle by Scott Brooks.
At a critical time in the basketball game, you must make good decisions, high percentage shots, and high percentage passes. That one, a most difficult pass by Danny Manning.
That's an unbelievable decision by Manning.
Remind you of Strickland with San Antonio a few years ago.
Not quite the same situation, but not a smart move. The Houston Rockets with the decisive edge off the boards, led by Hakeem, who has 20 rebounds to go along with his 29 points, and Otis Thorpe with 15 rebounds. 5:18 remaining in the game. The Rockets 74, the Clippers 66. Lester Connor and Scott Brooks on the jump ball. Scott Brooks goes 5'11", giving away several inches, and the Clippers able to control. Manning. And the officials are checking it over. Darryl Garrett's in the outside man. Says knocked out of bounds by Houston.
The underneath official could not get a good look. Instead of blowing the whistle the wrong way, Scotty Brooks got that left hand in there. He conferred with his partner outside. They got it straight.
There's Roberts way off. Looked like Olajuwon got a piece of it.
Sure did. Looked like he had another block shot on that one.
The crowd urging the Rockets on with just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. 8-point Houston lead. Again a deflection, and Manning able to recapture. Harper backing Maxwell. Roberts is there. So it cuts it to a 6-point Houston lead.
See, Larry Brown's tough decision is stay with this unit, which is a better defensive unit, but he's got some scorers on the bench that can help get him some points, in particular Ken Norman, a guy who can knock out a jumper and a three-pointer.
Oh, look out. Darryl Garrison just went down at center court and shaken up. Clipper trainer Keith Jones over to
go to the side.
Take a look.
Go to the side. Don't stay here. We have to have this. Just go to the side.
Apparently Darryl in a collision with one of our cameramen. Asks, is he okay? Darryl says he's all right. 4:14 remaining. In this fourth quarter, Rockets with a 74-68 lead.
Interesting, when players go down, go into the basket, a la Kenny Anderson from New Jersey, they in danger of breaking that small bone in the wrist. And as Garrettson got up, he went down, tried to brace his fall. He started grabbing his wrist immediately.
Maxwell will throw in. Houston with Maxwell, Brooks, and Smith in a three-guard setup, along with Herrera and Olajuwon. They double up. Smith for three. Oh, Kenny Smith has been hitting the outside shot. He's 3 of 6 from three-point land, and the Rockets with a 77-68 lead. Nice play, Manning from Harper.
Ahmad mentioned a few moments ago that Rudy Tomjanovich kept telling Kenny Smith, you're open, you've got to take the shot. You must take it. Well, he took it and buried it the last time.
Smith has 17 points. Again, the double team on Olajuwon. Brooks feeds it back. 31 for Hakeem. Rockets lead by 9. Approach 3 minutes remaining in the game. Harper hits. Crowd wanted a foul on the Clippers as Maxwell got picked off. Rockets 79 and the Clippers 72. They double up on Smith. Harper ties him up.
Right now, you must be strong. You must understand a little confrontation taking place. Vernon Maxwell not real happy with a screen that Stanley Roberts set on him earlier and knocked him to the ground. So just a little bit of talk going on now between the players. But you've got to understand the mentality of playoff basketball. All the little touch fouls that may have been called during the regular season, they're not calling those now. This is the time you step forward, you take the physical contact, you don't say much about it, you just play strong, you play big.
It has been very mild in terms of the trash talk exchange. Had a couple of incidents in game number 4. Now Maxwell and Harper, who have been going at it from time to time during the series, did exchange words. Mark Jackson got involved. Very quiet for Mark, not putting the gyrations of the shake on display. Usually pulls back on the road, but was very much into it in game 4 on Wednesday. Double technical. Harper and Smith called on the double technical. We're down to 2:56 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Rockets 79, the Clippers 72. The winner here will advance to play the winner between Utah and Seattle. That's coming up right here on NBC, second part of our doubleheader. It'll be Utah at Seattle in game number 5. That will follow. If Houston wins, they open up the Western Conference semifinal series Monday night, either here in Houston against Utah or at Seattle. If the Clippers win, they'd open up also Monday night at either Utah or Seattle. Apparently, Mike Mathis was in the process of calling a backcourt violation as Kenny Smith tried to step over the line when he was trapped and then reached back, and then he was tied up. And that led to the verbal warfare and the double technical. So the Clippers maintain possession. Here is Connor. Yes! Lester Connor hits on his third field goal. Rockets with a 5-point lead, so the Clippers hang in. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go. Fourth quarter, Harper knocks it away. Here's Jackson. The Clippers trim it to a 3-point lead. Harper with the steal.
Clippers are going to pull out those I Believe t-shirts once again, thinking they can get it done here with just over 2:20 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Rudy Tomjanovich calling for a timeout, and the Clippers have come on strong. A 20-7 run to turn it around.
For guarding Kenny Smith in the backcourt is trying to produce a turnover. The clock when it reaches 14 means they've used up 10 seconds. Well, this official up on top, Mike Mathis, is keeping an eye on that clock. He will start to signal with his hand when he sees the 10-second violation take place. The hand goes up. There's the 10-second call by Mike Mathis. Then in the junk defense, the defensive player's job is to turn the man he's guarding. Jackson comes from behind. The flick by Harper leads to another 2 points for Los Angeles.
We're down to 2:22 remaining fourth quarter. Houston with 9 turnovers in this fourth quarter to help the Clippers get back into it. They were down by as many as 16. Maxwell penetrated. Oh, good play that time. Manning felt that he had knocked it off Olajuwon, but apparently Manning was out of bounds, although the officials are discussing it.
If the ball bounced inbounds and then came up into Manning's hands out of bounds, the ball is off Danny Manning. If it hit out of bounds first, then the ball belongs to the Clippers. It was thrown off the player, but hit inbounds and then came up in Manning's hands out of bounds. He's part of out of bounds, so it's off Danny Manning.
And Maxwell will throw in. Rockets get a new 24, 2:10 remaining in the game. Rockets now clinging to a 3-point lead.
2 minutes in the period.
Maxwell with the head fake and is rejected by Roberts. Jackson back for the Clippers. Got to settle things down. 3-point Houston lead. But the Clippers on a roll. Manning off the dribble. And he hits a big shot.
That's a difficult shot by Danny Manning, but he makes tough shots.
Manning is 24. Clippers are within 1. A minute and 35 remaining. Fourth quarter, fifth and decisive game. Series tied at 2. The winner will play the winner between Utah and Seattle. Good defense by Connor. Olajuwon. And it's Clipper ball. Harper with Jackson. 2 Rockets back. Harper all the way. Yes, and it counts. Ron Harper will go to the line.
Well, back to series before this transition basket. It's a one-on-one isolation for Manning. He's supposed to produce 2 points. Otis Thorpe holds his ground, but up over the top, Danny Manning knocks down a big jumper. And then in transition, the finger roll, it bites the rim, it goes in, and Harper with a chance for the 3-point play.
Unable to take advantage, but a 10-0 run on the Clippers. Harper was fouled by Maxwell. And we come up to 1 minute remaining, fourth quarter. Clippers lead by 1, 80-79. Clippers do have a foul again. 3-point attack, and he's got it! Aaron Maxwell hits the 3. And the Rockets with an 82-80 lead. Clippers take a timeout.
Up to this point, you could have questioned whether or not Vernon Maxwell should still be out on the floor. He's only had 2 practices since the broken wrist, but after that shot, you don't question it at all. You are not allowed to double-team the post without the ball. As we stop it right there, you'll see a 2-time on a post man with no basketball. That's an illegal defense that was not called as Harper tries to scramble back then because he knows he's committed a no-no.
Rockets with 2 timeouts left. Clippers have 1. Clippers have a foul to give. 56 seconds remaining. Fourth quarter. Rockets with an 82-80 lead. Clippers have come from 16 down. They've hit their last 5 field goal attempts. A game that has seen 14 lead changes, 5 ties. It has come down to this, 5th and final game, and we go to the final minute. Coming off the 3-point victory by the Clippers in Game 4 on Wednesday to keep this alive. Here's Connor, who was stripped by Brooks. Will be Clipper ball with 13 on the 24.
Connor trying to take the one-on-one move to the basket and draw the foul. Got no call as Scott Brooks stripped it clean.
Connor will throw in. Roberts gets it out. Jackson with the spin. Rebounded by Thorpe. And it's Smith working ahead of the field. Rockets lead 84-80. Half-minute remaining. Fourth quarter. Manning for three. Connor gets it back. Manning again for three.
You don't need a three-point shot at that time. Get a good two and then go up and play defense again. You could always foul after that.
I just don't understand the decision-making of Danny Manning, who obviously has so much natural talent. It will be Clipper ball, though, with 17 seconds remaining. Manning's the high man for the Clippers with 24. Olajuwon is 31. Here's Jackson. Brooks let it go, and it will be Houston ball. Houston has 2 timeouts left. The Clippers have 1. 12 and 5/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter.
Larry Brown trying to get a substitution in to play defense here at the table. He gets him in.
Yes, he wanted Jaren Jackson. He replaces Stanley Roberts.
Everyone face guards. Don't let the first pass inbound.
And Smith is fouled. Jackson. Jaren Jackson and Mark Jackson combining. Kenny Smith is an excellent free throw shooter. That's the man the Rockets wanted with the ball. He's 88% for the season. Smith making his check that. That was the one foul to give. Now 10 and 6/10 seconds remaining. And Clippers say they tied him up. They get the call. Scott Brooks tied up.
Larry Brown trying to put an offensive player back in the game again. He gets Stanley Roberts up to the table. They'll substitute now. Lester Connor looking over at the coach saying, you want a 2, you want a 3, what do you want to do?
8 and 6/10 seconds to go. A 4-point lead by Houston. Jackson with the height advantage on Brooks. Harper able to save it. Fires. Rebound, Roberts. And he shoots. And that is it. They celebrate at the summit. The Houston Rockets hold on and beat the Los Angeles Clippers. To advance, they take the series in 5. The Houston Rockets now will await the winner between Seattle and Utah. Hakeem Olajuwon, 31 points, 21 rebounds, 7 block shots, and he's alongside Ahmad Rashad. Here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Hakeem, you started out the game a little slowly. The first half you guys were down, but you seemed to turn the intensity up the second half.
Well, we won the game, but I'm not really happy the way we won the game. We don't want the game to be this close, especially in the first round.
Well, a lot of people didn't expect us to go 5 games, but the Clippers played you pretty tough.
Yes, that's true. I think it was the matchup. They matched up very well with us.
Well, what do you look forward to? You got to sit back now and look at Seattle, Utah. How do you see that one?
I think we have to regroup ourselves and be focused mentally for tough games.
All right, congratulations on your win today, and good luck to you in the rest of the playoffs.
Well, thank you.
All right, thanks, Hakeem. Back to you, Mark.
All right, I'm out of objective point of view by Hakeem Olajuwon. Not pleased with the way the Rockets blew the big lead. They led by as many as 16.
And Hakeem realizing that you can't be satisfied just getting past the first round, that if you're going to go on to bigger and better things, you have to handle teams that you're supposed to beat more convincingly than they did the Los Angeles Clippers. But I think they need to give the Clippers a little more respect.
Well, led by Olajuwon, 31 points, 21 rebounds, 7 block shots. The Rockets win their first playoff series since '87 when they knocked off Portland in the first round. Final score in Game 5. The Rockets 84 and the Clippers 80. Coming up next, Game 2 of our NBA playoff doubleheader. A Game 5 showdown between the Utah Jazz and the Seattle Supersonics, and the winner of that game will advance to meet the Rockets. That'll be in round 2 of the playoffs. The Jazz versus the Sonics. That is coming up next. For Mike Fratello and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.